I'm Pat Kreitlow. Let's unpack the news by heading out to Milwaukee. It's day one of the Democratic National Convention, and our Jonathon Sadowski is in downtown Milwaukee, which we originally thought was going to be a very crowded place. It is not a crowded place, Jonathon, by any stretch, is it?
No, I think this is probably the first mass event I've ever covered where there are more reporters than really anyone else there. And it's not even that many reporters. It's probably dozens as opposed to the hundreds, if not thousands.
It's a mass event without the mass,
Right,
basically.
yeah.
But we wanted you to go there, even though the rest of us, basically stayed home. We're going to follow things virtually instead, but you're there on the scene. You did talk to some people, of course, have to work there. They're working, the logistics or security or what have you. But there were a few folks, either as delegates or just interested observers who were there. And so I wanted you to tell us a bit about them. You talked to one person, Linda was her name, who felt like she just had to be there. What was her story?
Yeah, so Linda was a retired human resources professional from Green Bay, not a big fan of President Trump and a big fan of Milwaukee, really. So she came down. She just wanted to support the city. She was aware that the convention isn't what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be 50,000 people downtown. And like I said, it's dozens, maybe a few hundred. So she came down. She wanted to support the city. She said it is really a shame that the event went down like it did due to the coronavirus pandemic.
And she, along with others, of course, but I mean, she doesn't see this as something benign. The fact that the convention was canceled basically because of the coronavirus does have blame attached to it, she believes.
Yeah, exactly. She really pinned it on the failed federal response to the pandemic. You see that we're closing in on like 5.4 million cases, about 170,000 deaths, and just about 6 months of the virus really being prevalent here. And she actually turned to South Korea, where she has a niece who's been teaching English there for a few years, and really kind of drew the parallels that in South Korea, there's something like 52 or 51.6 million residents, but about 15,000 cases and just a few hundred deaths. You can contrast that to even Wisconsin with fewer than 6 million residents, where we have 65,000 cases, 4 times that amount, and over 1,000 deaths now. So it really does show her point, which is that it's been a failure on a mass scale, state and federal.
It did not have to be at this level, right? And another one of the folks you talked to, Peter Rickman, who does not just leave this at the feet of Donald Trump, but from state Republican leaders as well. Tell us about Peter, what he does.
Sure. Peter's the president of the Milwaukee Area Service and Hospitality Workers Union, or MASH. They represent the workers at the Fiserv Forum, which was the original venue for the DNC before it got scaled back and moved to the Wisconsin Center. And he was, of course, disappointed that the members of his union, they're not going to get a chance to, work for this huge event. But he also wanted to really share the story of systemic inequality and inequities in Milwaukee and really the nation, just in terms of, they're along racial lines and economic lines. He wanted to highlight the working class and people like those who work at the Fiserv Forum who need that representation right now. So he was disappointed by that, and he really did pin it on not only President Trump's failure at a federal level to contain the virus, but also Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Senate Majority Leader Fitzgerald in the Wisconsin legislature, who have, they sued to lift the statewide stay-at-home order earlier this year. They, at least Fitzgerald, is ready to overturn the statewide mask mandate. And they've kind of left the state with a patchwork of responses that pretty directly led to the spikes that we're seeing in COVID-19 right now in the state.
And as if that weren't enough, back to President Trump, he's going to be appearing at the Oshkosh airport later on Monday, making other appearances as well, despite the public health threat that might be there as well. But Jonathon Sadowski, we want you to stay safe out there. Thank you again for bringing us the story of what's happening in Milwaukee, and we will check in with you again soon.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, and that is our little bit of unpacking the news for this Monday. For Up North News, I'm Pat Kreitlow.